Let's start at the beginning. Can you tell us about your childhood in Papua New Guinea? Where did you grow up and what was life like?
I grew up in a village, Ulamona Village, and I grew up in a family of 10. Mom and dad, both subsistence farmers, just like every other parents, but devoted to Catholic Church. And our old man, Marcus Bai, he worked for the Catholic mission all his life, and we all go through that, and obviously baptized and confirmation and Holy Communion with my firstborn sister, and all the way down to me as the last in the family. So, the bringing up was as per normal as Papua New Guinean families and in the villages, and Dad is a very church goer, and got us family, and every one of us in the family got it, to be able to go to church every Sunday and follow by these rules. He managed our family with an iron fist, and his ways are the only way, which makes a lot of our brothers and sisters become very successful later on in life. So I'm the last in the family, and was very lucky and fortunate to be able to be managed by 7 other brothers and 2 sisters. That really gave me the support, and as well the extended family. So did my grade 1 in 1980, and 85 I finished school in Ulamona Primary School, and went to Bialla High School 86 to 89. And then after that went back home to the village. Wasn't successful to go do 11 and 12, so decided to play rugby league in 1990 under 19s in Bialla Rugby League club there then. And then 91, 92, 93, the season didn't get off until 94. Played several games in reserve grade and A grade. And then my brother saw one of the papers reported on the local rugby league, and decided to bring me up to Mosby and to give me a trial with Paga Panthers, his old club that he played before in the 70s and 80s. And it went off from there, and I think I was just lucky enough that during 94, 95, it was a talk of Super League and ARL, which and I think looking back at it now, I think without that move from John Ribbo, and I don't think if that move wasn't done, I don't think I'll make it to be able to go to Gold Coast Chargers in 1997. I was lucky enough to be to get a contract in England 1996. My brother and his wife saw the clip on Postcareer, I think, during the time, and decided to give me a chance for 2 weeks in Mosby, and the 2 weeks becomes a month, and becomes a 12 months in 1994. And the rest is now, 95 joined the Vipers, and 96 joined Hull Rugby Football Club in England, 97 on the Gold Coast, the Gold Coast Chargers, and 98 to 2003 down in Melbourne, and then back to England 2004-05 with Leeds Rhinos, Bradford. And going back to the question, the bringing up was as normal as all other Papua New Guineans that we all grew up in. Was just lucky enough in those era, or maybe of 2 to 3 years of the Super League war and ARL war, that gave me an opportunity.
What role did sport, and especially rugby league, play in your community and in your upbringing?
I think the discipline and being managed by my parents. I think that early discipline and early, I suppose, the family bringing up made it so much easier for me in my career. I always look at it back as following the footsteps of my brothers and how they were successful, and how they they how they talk to us, the younger ones, younger siblings, about how Dad likes to do things, and continue from Stanis and to Alois and Martin, and the two sisters, the value of Mom and Dad, and what they want us, and what they want us, how our parents want us to be taught how to do things, and that is all working hard. So,
were there any influences, family, coaches, or local heroes who helped shape your passion for the game?
I think my brothers, my brothers, my elder brothers, their success in what they did, Stanis, and of course with the bank for many years, and look after us, the remainder of the siblings, and reminding us of what Mom and Dad's value. That was a highlight for me as growing up. And we all know our father and our mother, how they do things. Stanis was successful that way, and his success and his family. Our sister-in-law was still alive, Wally, and the family here in Mosby, and the brothers after that follow his footsteps. And for me to go in a different way with sports, which is totally different to their success, was they saw something in me that I think if they support me, then and they did, and that sort of blossomed in me, and that support that I got, and to be able to finance me, and Stanis was the only one during that time to be able to say, hey, you can do it, and don't worry about money, don't worry about, I'll bring it to Mosby. And so that support was huge. To bring myself into his family in Mosby, that plays a lot. That is something I'll never forget, and that is something that story is told to my three boys. Many times I said and every Sunday I said to my boys, we go to church and come back, and I said to them, without Uncle Stanis and Auntie Wally, I wouldn't be here. You guys, I wouldn't meet your mom, and you guys won't be born. I said only those two made it possible for me, and I repay them in what I did. I got to do it properly, and there are times that you go down, but those are my motivations, and because of them. And I said, you boys need to stand up and do what you're good at. You're taught well by, I said, your mother and I, and if you do those things like I did in 20, 30 years ago, I said, you'll become somebody. So that's something that motivates me, and my kids, knowing the story, motivates them, as the opportunity was there for them to take.
Did you always dream of playing professional rugby league, or did that ambition come later?
The ambition came later when I started playing rugby league in 1990, and then started to watch the ARL during that time, 1 week late or 2 weeks late, of course in the village, but I think in the early 1990s we on the State of Origin nights, we normally drive to Bialla for 1 hour and hire the car and drive there just to watch the State of Origin. But it came in later because obviously rugby league wasn't introduced in schools. I was lucky enough that my brother and my cousins and relatives in the village introduced the game to us in 87 when I was still in grade 8. So it was introduced later on. I've never known there's a game of rugby league before that. So
you went on to become one of PNG's greatest rugby league exports. What do you remember most about your early days in the domestic competition?
To be able to pay respect to my brother and his wife, to repay them for bringing me to Mosby, to repay them for clothing me and financing me with their family, with their 3 girls. During that time, of course, now they're all married and have kids, but during the time, it was a deal that my brother said to me, you come up here and don't disappoint Dad as the last chief in the village, and we'll do it for him. He said, you come up here, we're all successful, but you come up here and do your best, and if you don't make it, you go back home. And those are the motivation for me, that I didn't want to disappoint them to see their roles in Mosby, and during the time he was already with the managing director of ICDC from the bank, long-standing with the Papua New Guinea Banking Corporation, and his wife was a long-term lecturer at in-service college, just down from us here. So that respect for them, and the humble bringing up and humble family that they have plays a massive role in my nieces, who came every Sunday to support me. That was something I want to give back to them. And I was only there for 2 weeks and a month, and before I know it, I was getting recognition for selection for the Vipers the following year. So it was only that I didn't want to go home and face the boys in the village that I came up to Mosby and fail. And like my old man says to me, he said, you gotta go and you gotta go and work hard. And if you don't work hard, you become lazy. You get nothing out of it.
So can you tell me, how did you move overseas to play, and overseas in Australia and the UK come about? And what were the biggest challenges you faced?
I was selected for the 1995 World Cup with the 22 other PNG Kumuls, Stanley Gene, name a few, John Okul. Obviously, Adrian Lam was player. Adrian Lam, David Wesley, and Bruce Mamondo played a massive part in coming back to give us that motivation into playing for our country. And of course, we went to England, and I played on the reserve bench there, number 16. And after the tournament, I got selected to be able to get a contract for 12 months with Hull Rugby Football Club. And it started from there. And my family, my brother Stanishan, play a massive role in my career. By then he's been in and out of overseas and knew what it's like, how to live. Him and his wife been to Australia and other places a lot. So it was something that I learned from them, him and his wife, how to live in overseas. But I didn't think that I will go there 27 years later. I'll be still living overseas. And the motivational one is wanted to be able to make it in the first grade. And the promise that my brother said to me is, if you're gonna make it up in with England, don't fail us. That a lot of the Kumuls come and go, 1 year in overseas and they're back. You keep going and you fight hard for it. Don't let the old man down. As the last chief, and those are the things that motivate me, and I can't let my family down. And especially old men still alive during the time was the motivational for me to, and of course the support from our big family, my dad's clan and my mother's clan in the village, and the whole of Ulamona. And then I started to see the Bialla district, the area, the support in West New Britain and Papua New Guinea. The support that they had for us, had for me in the early days. That motivates me to be able to keep working hard. To be honest, it was hard. Coming from the village to England wasn't easy. I did a lot of wrong things in terms of getting parking tickets, but I was cautious in having a beer with the boys, that I don't bring shame to my old man. I was more petrified of letting my old man down than my brothers and sisters. And going back, what I said earlier is the upbringing was the main tool that helped me through the pathways overseas.
had a stellar career with Melbourne Storm and other clubs. What moments stand out as the highlights of your professional career?
I think the moments of getting selected every week, and obviously the Melbourne Storm 6 years was it was a career that really put the stamp on my name, and obviously put a stamp on Papua New Guinea, that telling NRL that yes, we got players in the country that can make it. Before that, there was nothing. That self-belief from National Rugby League clubs that I didn't know until halfway through the season when I was told by our media manager Chris Appleby that a lot of clubs now started to look at Papua New Guinea. They wanted to see more of Marcus Bai in the back line, but as well in the forward pack. And that was told to me by John Ribbo and Chris Jones. They as well, it surprised them as well, and my coaching staff and the coaching staff. Chris Anderson said it on our first early days, the brick on ice. During that year, he said he didn't think I would come and make it because of ARL Super League, and a lot of players got missed out. But yeah, I think the self-belief. I'll go back to upbringing and my family, and I wouldn't leave this out. The support from Papua New Guinea was enormous to the success, and the push, the support that they pushed me to be able to play every week in, week out, to be up there on the top, to be able to perform that I did for 6 years in Melbourne was a different level of footy with amalgamation of ARL and Super League. So that plays a massive role, and I can't just say it's my family. Yes, my family from the early days, as I've said, but this whole country really pushed me to be able to keep going. So, and family advice was, you keep doing that, a lot of kids will follow your footsteps and go that way. And that was something that we talked about in the early days as a role model for the kids. I didn't think about that as an important thing, but yeah, it came to be, and the rest is now history. Yeah.
Any premierships? And what years?
99 premiership with Melbourne, and then 1999 with Melbourne Storm against St. George Illawarra, and then I went to England 2004. We won the grand final after 32 years. Leeds Rhinos. I played with Leeds Rhinos against Bradford Bulls, and then obviously 2000 after winning the grand final with Melbourne Storm, we had the World Club Challenge against St. Helens in early 2000. I was lucky enough to be able to play in the 2004 grand final against Bradford Bulls, and then played against Canterbury in the World Club Challenge again. I was lucky enough to play 3 of them. So 2006, when I joined Bradford Bulls, they won the grand final, and in 2005 and 2006, when I joined them, we played at World Club Challenge again. So about two grand finals and 3 World Club champions. And within the 10 years of my professional career was, and I didn't look at it then, but looking back at it now, I said it was the 10 years very short. Started off as a 24, 25-year-old and professional playing rugby league, and came out 34 years old. It was not bad. It's not bad for a short career.
Okay, we'll come to the Kumuls now. When did you represent the Kumuls, and what did it mean to you personally to represent the PNG Kumuls on the international stage?
I represent Papua New Guinea, the Kumuls, in 1995. And I missed out in a lot of games at the end of the year because of the finals with NRL and NRL clubs that I play with, obviously Melbourne Storm, and I missed out in a lot of the test footy when the finals were still on and the international games were played. So I missed out on a lot of that, and something I'll always look back and wearing the Kumul jersey is the pride that every young Papua New Guineans wanted to wear, that yellow jersey, the gold jersey that we always want to wear. There was a dream come true when you started to make it to the Vipers or the Lahanis or Gorokalahanis or the Eagles. And so the next step is every young man wants to wear the Kumul. They don't want to be in the 14, 15 to 16, but they want to be in the first 13. So it's an honor. It meant a lot. To me, it meant we represent, 800 different languages and different tribes of our country. It's a unique country. And to represent the whole different languages, you don't even know the languages, to represent them in the world stage, to show our culture and our aggressiveness and whatever talent that we have, to me was the ultimate in your career, that you can go and win grand finals, but playing for your country is something else. It's a different beast of a feeling. And to be able to lose a game is you're letting the whole country down. And to be able to win, you're on top of the world. And I know how we are in Papua New Guinea, and other Kumuls that wore the jersey said it in their own ways. To me, it was representing my family, my tribe, my clan, and representing the district and the province, and obviously our country. So the motivational wise is you want to go in there and hurt somebody, you want to go in and kill someone, as will come from it. So it meant a lot, talking about this and emotion to some 16 years ago, 17 years ago when I wore the jersey, and the next bit now is for me to I have now communicated this to my kids and said, hey, playing for Papua New Guinea, it meant so much to local kids. It meant so much to our corporate. It meant so much to our normal Papua New Guineans than any other countries that you can play with. I said, the breakfast, the lunch, and the dinner talks and the beer talks talks about the national team. And they know that from a very young age until today. I said, whatever you do, I said, the Kumul jersey is the ultimate for you boys. I said, I'm following my father and my brother's footsteps in the disciplinary and how we do to be successful, and you boys follow the pathways that you boys been brought up in. And I said, the jerseys that I bought you, the Kumuls, the Hunters jersey that I get for you boys, you're wearing it now, but you're not wearing it with pride yet. So when you play for one, you will know what pride is all about. What you represent 10 to 15 million people that they don't know you, but that name, the Bai name keeps going forward. And, that motivational talk with my kids it's tattooed in their hearts. They know that. I don't have to speak it. As the kids go into Belly Bears and the Titans and the Dolphins with the three boys, I said, you are recognized as Papua New Guineans. And they'll ask you, what race are you from? And I said, I'm Australian, but my dad is Papua New Guinea. We ask you because we've seen that surname. So I said, whatever you do, you represent my old man, and you represent me, you represent our family, and you represent our country in Papua New Guinea. So they are aware of that, and I have to due to my standing in the country and of motivational to our lot of young boys and young girls. I know that, and every day that I carry that on my shoulders since 1996, since my dad, my old man, and my brothers told me you are the role model for these young boys and girls. You be careful on what you do and what you say, and that will use against you. But you keep going forward and be strong in what you do, so that these young boys and young girls, they see your profile, and one day they can make something out of it and experience what you have. So yeah, was pleasing. That is a pleasing part of it. Yeah.
So what games did you play for the Kumuls?
I played against New Zealand Kiwis, Tonga. Played against Australia in 2000. One of the games that organized, I think it was a President Teddy. I don't think it was a President Teddy. It was a test. Played against South Africa in the World Cup. Ireland. I think from my memory, I think 13 or 14 tests for the country, but I missed out a lot. When 6 years in Melbourne, I missed out a lot in the test teams because the dates we were in the finals when the games were played. So Stanley Gene and Johnny Wiltshire and the boys, they and Mark Mom, they played a lot of test games for Papua New Guinea because of the clubs that obviously they played for. They were available to go and play. I wasn't available, and it was really, to me, during those times, I had to go and ask my boss, John Ribbo. I said, hey, can I go and play? And he said, hey, you can't play. You can play for Papua New Guinea, but not now. So you're contracted you've signed a contract to me, so you got to play in the finals. And he always said to me, yeah, keep trying. You're not gonna do it. So that he didn't know, but that sort of hurt me in terms of, yeah, I signed a contract. I got to abide by my contract, and but I missed out. That's history now. And
Rugby league has changed over the years. How do you view today's game compared to the one you played in?
The tactical and the technical side of things change a little bit or change a lot. Experts will go against what I say, but the rugby league, the game itself has not changed. I keep telling my boys, the rugby league is very simple: go forward, tackle hard. And as people say, as a lot of experts said, the game has changed in terms of the HIA. With the head knock, and I think it's gone through the right way. During our time was brutal, and before that was even worse. But I think with Peter Valendis and the board has cracked down on it, and for the welfare of young players, and I think the game is in a great shape. And for our kids, I mean, for myself, I got kids, 3 boys now, all playing rugby league. I don't want to see them with head knock and continuous head knock. To me, I hail that. I love that. To protect our female and to protect our kids. When we played during the time, we didn't care about that. But now that we have kids, you said, yeah, we do. And the toughness is still there. The speed is even there, and the talent is always there. And our kids here in Papua New Guinea have the opportunity to be able to go and test themselves whether they're good enough. But to me they say game is changed, but the old rugby league is still there. But the management of it and the welfare of it is step up to a different level, which we all salute our bosses, and Peter Valendis and the ARL Commission has done really well, and National Rugby League, to be able to secure that and promise parents that yes, your son or your daughter will come and play, but will be looked after for the remaining of the future, to be able to get a job and have kids, and it was something that we are proud of, and ex-players are really proud of and right behind it.
Okay, we'll come to the next section, your reflections on PNG at 50. This year, Papua New Guinea celebrates 50 years of independence. As someone who's seen PNG evolve over the decades, what stands out most to you about the journey we've taken as a nation? To me,
it's the journey that we've taken. I was a I was very young when we celebrated. I still remember today celebrating at Ulamona Primary School in 1975. Young lad with running around there with no shirt on, and then to be able to be still here 50 years after. We've come a long way. Our great country has been managed to the way it is today. Sports has been part of it. Rugby league has been part of it, and I don't know how long rugby league has been here. 1998 is the 50 years of anniversary of rugby league in Papua New Guinea. So from 1998 till now, don't know how many years that the rugby league has been in this country. But yeah, to be able to several months time we'll celebrate the 50 years is something that we all be proud of as independent, and we manage our country. A lot of ups and downs, but that's what life is all about. To me, looking back at my career in the last 10 years, I suppose, and 10 years as a professional rugby league player, and probably 16 years or 17 years of ambassador, role model for young boys and girls. The question is, have I done enough to be able to motivate a lot of the youths and to get out of where they are and play the game that they love, and female and male, and have I done enough? I think so, and I think to celebrate this year 50 years of the anniversary of our country, something that I will be proud of, and as well my kids as well to be part of the 50 years in the way we celebrate as us Papua New Guineans. The culture, different cultures, different cultures that we have during that week of the 16th September will be amazing, will be great to see. And for me, it's my kids to be able to see the celebration of 50 years of their country as well. They're part of will be a special moment for them as Papua New Guineans. And to me as well, in the sport of rugby league, is now we can look back and see where we went in rugby league, and so many superstars, with Adrian Lam and Bruce Mamondo and David Wesley starting that momentum of turn around and come back and say, no, we want to play for our mother's country, which is Papua New Guinea. That really inspired us. Adrian inspired us so much to come back and to play for our country and captain the country, and we all stood behind him. And to be able to see his son, Lachlan, to come back and play the position that this old man did was a dream come true. For me, it was a dream come true for the family, that Adrian is a proud Papua New Guinean, and we idolize him as one of our best sports personnel in our country. To be able to motivate us and said, hey, and making it to ARL is easy. All you have to do is you got to work hard and keep at it. I remember his talks in 1995, telling us local boys, if I can do it, you can do it. You boys are better players, but if you don't be consistent in it. So to me, 50 years is remembering all those things that motivate us, and as well with the government moving forward to bring on the Hunters in the Intra Super Cup. And this year, what a year that the announcement of the National Rugby League for our country. Young boys and young girls and parents and people in the village should not look down on this. This is an opportunity for their kids and their grandkids and their great-grandkids to be able to experience what some of us has experienced in our 10 years of rugby league. My advice to them is go and look for it and take it, so you can experience what some of us, that sometimes our explanation don't match what our feelings are. I salute every Papua New Guinean that come and say hello and they smile that when they saw me, and I always smile back saying, hey, thank you. The support is always there, and I'm finished 16, 17 years ago. That is the craziness of our country that motivates me to keep coming back here, coming back to Papua New Guinea to work, and as well motivate youths in the villages. My CEO, John Lewins, the K92 Mining CEO, asked me this morning at breakfast, invited me for breakfast and said to me, what motivates you to keep coming back to this country? And I said, these people. I said, what people? He said, these people in our country. They love their sports. I can't just live in Australia and work there because of my kids. I always want to come back here, and since I finished in 2006, 2009, I've been working in PNG for whole of my life until now. Now I'm working for you. And he said, so what is your legacy? I said, my legacy is working in the community affairs to be able to go to the villages and tell the story. I don't just do your work, but I tell the story to open up understanding within the landowners about rugby league, and then I do your job as community affairs, what the message from the company to be able to get our landowners understand what the company is doing. That rugby league career play a massive part in our negotiations, and I don't see this negotiation. I see it as we're talking to our landowners about why the company is employing these people and that company to understand where the company is going. They want to make money, yes, but we have to work with them. They don't have to work with us landowners. We have to work with them to be able to gain that employment and the business aspects of it, to benefit from it. We have to work with the company, follow the requirements to be able to register your company to be able to participate in the mine while it's on its last 10 years of their life, of the life of the mine. So rugby league plays a massive role. And last night in the morning at 10:30, and last morning was he knew what I bring in as an ex-rugby league player, but information that we talked about is he focused really on what legacy we K92 Mining can bring. And I said, the understanding of them, understanding us, what you wanted to do as a CEO, they have to know. And that's the community affairs that we preach to them. But we don't preach to them. We sit down and we have coffee with our directors and our landowners and lunch and say, this is what the company is doing. My job is to help you get on. They're traveling on 60 kilometers per hour. You need to come with us, not on the 20. You'll be left behind. It's same as rugby league in NRL. I can't be playing like in Papua New Guinea. I have to be playing in the NRL level to be able to select it every week in, week out. Mining is same. That scenario was used to them. They understood it. And I'll say it now, in 2022, so many of the youths and the groups and clans come to see us about information they've never been taken before. But now, 2023 and 24, or 24 and 25, hardly see the landowners now because they understood where the company goes, or how they do things as a company and corporate to earn money, but as well to bring the landowners with. And our job, and I use that rugby league career, is they trust me from the beginning because of my career, as I mentioned to my boss, John Lewins. They trust me with that, and I have to give the trust back to them. This is the right way, and then they see the end result of it, where they fill in the requirements of the business registration with IPA. They go to pay tax, and also this is explained to them by myself and our team and the business development department. So we play a massive role, and the rugby league open up everything for us in K92. I don't know everybody in K92, but rugby league opened up for us. The member, honorable member, K92 member, William Hagahuno, that conversation and the respect that he gave, and I gave him a lot of respect as well, and that is intact together. Whatever his views with the company, that's between the company and himself. But our relationship is still intact. We shake hands and have a coffee, invite us for coffee or lunch or dinner. Rugby league plays so much in the communities to open the doors for the company, but as well open the doors for the landowners into the company. And something that John Lewin's very proud of, and ask us to continue to do the great work that we did. All comes back to this greatest game in our country. So it's a pleasing job. It's sometimes many times very difficult of the landowner issues, but yeah, the pleasing part of it is them understanding and shaking hands and saying, I understand what you're saying now. After 4 months, after 6 months, the information was now being transparent to the landowners before the 3 other companies before K92 Mining. So we're doing well. We're doing really well, and John Lewis is a great leader, CEO that celebrating and paying tax and corporate tax and all sorts to be able to respect the country. To celebrate 50 years with K92 Mining is something special. Something special. I know that I won't be here in the another 50 years, but to be able to celebrate it in style like this will be something memorable for the kids and the grandkids to look back and see.
Okay. All right, we come towards the last lot of questions. You've returned home to help develop young talent. What motivates you to give back at this stage of your life and career?
I want the national team to be strong. But also, in that same level, I want a lot of our local boys in the villages to be able to fulfill their dreams, like the Justin Olam. You know what I mean? That motivates me. I want the younger kids to experience what I've experienced, and the great example is Justin Olam. I remember in 2016 when he got selected by 2 clubs. He was wanted by 2 clubs, Canberra and Melbourne, and David Wesley, Michael Marum, the governor now, was the coach. We strongly believe that Justin goes to Melbourne and he have a chance of winning a grand final, and we were not wrong. That kind of experience that we motivate them, and we want those kids to experience what Justin has experienced. He will tell the story in his own way, the Chimbu way. I tell the story in my own way, the Western Britain way. So motivational wise for young kids is to see our careers and said, if we can make it from the village, they can make it from the village. It's as simple as that. Whatever they're doing in the village, we didn't do a different thing in the village. We all do the same thing in the village, but it's the persistence and the consistency and the smartness. They need to go to school to be able to read and write, and then that school education will help them through the pathways to rugby league. It's not just playing the game toughly and then you will be left back if you don't understand what the coaches are saying. That plays a massive part in understanding the game inside when you're playing. You got to be able to be smart, to be able to read a play and play your attack and your defense into what's coming your way. So those kinds of things, you need to go to school. Coming back here, and this is a great year for us, and motivational wise, the experience that I wanted the young boys and young girls to make it in their own way, to be able to experience what some of us have done in winning grand finals. What is it that is great about it? Making it from the village to the and being up there in the professional for 10 years. And I promised my old man back then that I'll be up there in the 10 professional years, and I fulfilled that promise. I was gonna do it in Melbourne after 6 years, but they had other plans, so I had to go to Super League to be able to fulfill the other 3 years. So sometimes things don't go your way, but you find another way to be able to celebrate or to be able to fulfill that.
What is your vision for the next generation of PNG Rugby League players?
To be competitive, to be able to show their talent overseas, and the start of it is announced this week, yesterday. The board has been announced. Obviously, last year December, the NRL has given us a 5 or 10 year license. We're now moving forward. The government have changed that. The Prime Minister has changed that. Things that we think that we've never done before, maybe 40, 50 years ago, we've now done it. Now, it's up to the parents now and the country now to see that and jump on board and take that opportunity. Give the daughters and give their sons a opportunity to be able to go and test it out and be consistent in it to try and grab that opportunity. This is the time for them. The government has laid out the NRL is here in our country. We don't have to go to Brisbane and Townsville to watch a game. We are here, it's in our country. They have built the hunters, they're watching it from here, they need to come on board. And it's me and everybody else in Papua New Guinea, we need to jump on board. Let's forget about the negativity of it. Let's jump on board and give our kids and our grandkids the opportunity for them. They could be better than us. And I know they will be better than us. Who's to say that 40 years ago that some of us will come into the scene and make it to NRL? We never know that. So who's to say that maybe in the next 5, 10 years, there will be an immortal coming from this country as a Papua New Guinean local? Because this country is feeding one club. In Australia, there's how many, 16 countries, 16 cities or 16 clubs that will be filled in by 2 countries, New Zealand and Australia. And this is 15 million people feeding in one club. Now you just imagine that when you have, say, 1,000 qualified young boys and girls ready to take up orchids or the Kumuls. I'm excited about it because it is the opportunity that we never thought is going to happen, that happened now. So, full credit and thank the government for initiating it with the Australian government to be able to get the funding to get this. This is a dream come true for us, all the players. We want to come back. We have an opportunity now to come back and share our experience to our young boys and young girls. And in our chat group of the old boys, the Kumul old boys, you can see the positivity of everybody wants to come back here. I said, Marcus, what's happening? You're now in the board. What? I said, we haven't had a meeting or anything like. So when the plan comes out, as yesterday been told by us, is there's 5,000 jobs for everybody. So get on board and get the certification that you need to be able to come and help our country. This is the only way we're gonna do it, to come back and put our experience back to our community, where you come from, to give them the other opportunity that you already have. Something special, and I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about it. And last night or 2 nights ago, when I was told by the Australian Rugby League Commission that I was involved in the directorship, I couldn't sleep. I didn't know how to take this. I didn't have the experience. My only experience is as an ex-player and studying a new club like Melbourne Storm. That whole focus shift to that. As a player, not as a backbench board of director or administrator. So I'm still young into the role, and I needed a lot of advice and guidance from my bosses, My big brother has been into a lot of board, and this is a franchise is a little bit different from the normal, I think. And to add value into the board on where rugby league sits and the development of young boys and girls in our district, to me that's a big part, and I know that this NRL the NRL franchise is now that it's announced and the board is announced, things will start to happen for the country, and the experienced board that are in now with Stan Joyce been there with the SP Hunters, been in this country for many years, and Ian Tarutia, one of our pioneers of Papua New Guineans, been up there, successful. Something that I will learn from them, and as well, them learning from me as an ex-player of the needs for the young girls and young boys to be able to support them in the board level. Something that I didn't know what it's like, but to get through it and help the administration, the CEO and Andrew Hill and his team, administration team, and I'm looking forward to the challenge. It will be a great challenge for us, in a long road for us before 2028 or 2029.
What do you hope to see in the next 50 years? Not just in rugby league, but in PNG society as a whole.
Some changes to look after, some changes in our country. Maybe more jobs for for a lot of youths. I think something that I know that the government is working hard towards, to be the country to. There's a lot of changes that has happened since 1975. There are changes that will help the nation grow stronger. And we have all these the cash crop, the mining, the petroleum, gas companies in our country, and we can only get better from here. We all got all different thoughts about where we want to be, but to be able to participate and work well with the government, to be as one and work well together, to be able to change our nation, and to get better. To get better would be something that we all look forward to. The changes that will happen, and changes will not come that easy, but to be able to see a lot of our kids going to schools, graduating, and to be able to get that role as administrators, or to get a job, to be able to participate to help our country grow in the future, which will be the same as rugby league. What we've done, we think now that it's up there, but the next generation will go to the next level, rise to the next level, to be able to change the game of rugby league in Papua New Guinea, and that's how I see it. Hopefully the next generation of our politicians have a different way of doing things that will change our country, and I wanted to believe that and persist at it. The only thing we do is, for myself, is to work together with our politicians and with our leaders, with our top Papua New Guineans that hold big jobs in our country, and to work together with them, and in sports brings them together. The sports can play a massive role in the relationship that we have with our leaders in our country.
One last question. What message would you like to share with young Papua New Guineans dreaming of success in sport, education, or life in general?
Within sports, the government has built the facilities and the opportunities for us. It's there. It's up to them now to go and grab it. And when they grab it, they're going to grab it in both hands. There's ups and downs about it, but at the end of the day, I went through the same thing. But it's persistence and wanting to be able to make it. In education, is kids can look at it now that how old they are is you only go and earn good money when you go to school and you graduate at uni, or you graduate in your trade as an electrician or a welder, and you persist at it. And that's the same as sports. And sports the same as your success in what you wanted to do. So for education-wise, we needed education in our country for everyone to understand where we're all going. I mean, imagine if we look at Australia and say we're maybe how many years behind? And you look at families, they're all educated, they all go to school, and that's the missing link in our districts, in our villages, that a lot of kids don't continue to grade 12. They finish in grade 6 or they finish in grade 8. Currently, they're grade 8 or they're grade 10 or grade 12. So it has changed in the curriculum of Papua New Guinea in a way that now kids continue. My niece and nephew, they continue to continue with the schooling. When they don't go to university, they got other trades that now they participate in it, because they've seen now that when they don't do it, there is nothing for them in the village. I had my niece and nephews in the village now doing nursing. A lot of them, because it is an opportunity that is there for them within their range to be able to reach. So the school fees are unbelievable. The school fees are that high that I know that my aunties, uncles cannot even reach it. But they find money somewhere in Olpam project to be able to pay for that. So it is a struggle for everybody, and nothing is going to be easy. But something that they have to work hard towards. Nothing is free. They got to work hard towards it. Otherwise, they lose. And they've probably 3 or 4 years of their life after finishing grade 10 or grade 12, they've seen that, they've experienced it. Now they've gone to the next level. Now, I want to be like my uncles. They got money every time. How did they get that money? So, hey, go back and work hard. Go and get study and come back, and you get fortnightly pay from the government. So that has been, I've seen the changes in the village, because nowadays with mobile phones and buying flex and all that, it doesn't come free. So they've realized that, and they started to do something about it, which is it's amazing to see, and it motivates the other kids who been out for 4 or 5 years. They've now come back to it.
Just for some background, can you just tell me a bit about when you were born?
I was born in Ulamona Village.
That's in Bialla.
That's in the district of Bialla, yes. It now changed a little bit, so I'm lost in the changes in the district and the wards and also. But I was born in Ulamona, and our little town is Bialla, and I was born there 1972, and been raised by mom and dad with 9 other siblings. We had got a sister, and then 4 boys, and then sister and another 4 boys. So it was an interesting and as well, to me, looking back at it, it was a great life. And looking back now with my kids, I tell that story every time with my kids to understand. They never met my mom and dad, but they know who they are. They know where my father and how he does things, because it's a consistent every time. Anything that we do there, I relate them to my old dad. Dad is a very short-tempered person. When you do something wrong, you know it. I'm glad and delighted that I am brought up with my mom and dad, and we all do. Marcus Bai and Rita Lagea Bai. Every time I talk to my kids about it, I get very emotional about it. As the last born, I was sort of, it's not left out, but they were getting towards the old age.
So how many were before you? How many were before you? In your
Nine.
Nine.
Nine before me. So
you were the 10th, huh?
I'm the 10th in the family, yeah. So I suppose my kids say you were spoiled because you're the last born, you're given everything. And I agree to that. There's 8 boys and 2 sisters. Yeah.
Your sons are continuing in your footsteps. Would you like to say anything about that?
Yeah, look, we all grew up in the rugby league world. I'm not gonna lie. When my firstborn was born, I held him for two hours down in Melbourne. My wife kept saying to me, "Why don't you put him down?" And I said, "He'll be the next rugby league player." He said, "Yeah." I said, "No, he is. He's already is." And I said, "I will make sure that when the first sports ball that he's got a rugby league player, a rugby league ball." And as we go, I was still playing rugby league then, and everything is footy. Obviously, he didn't know that until we went to England when we won the World Cup. He was one year old. The Leeds Rhinos won we won the grand final. He was there as a 1-year-old in October. So he's born in August, so he was 1 year and 2 months. He still see the photos now and said, I didn't remember much. And I said, yeah, I came up and at Old Trafford, one of the legendary stadiums, Manchester United picked you up and brought you into the dressing room with Mom. And the kids now obviously know, meeting a lot of Papua New Guineans, and the way they see our Papua New Guineans, meet me was, he said, "Oh, Dad, he's so happy," or "She's so happy." And they understood now that rugby league is a national sport here in Papua New Guinea. They now knew that they got to live up to it. I never coached them at the junior level, but I'm always there when I go back for my break. Their mother played a massive role in their lives, of course, and to be able to help me bring them to the sport they love, and afternoon teas and all that. So the mother played a massive role in when I'm away. But when I'm there, the great thing about it is the discipline that I put to them. They never ever made their mom worried that she's gonna ring me and said, "Oh, the boys are playing up." No, not even one kind of phone call. That, because I always say to them when I'm away, I said, "Your mother is the boss. When I come back here, we will manage you guys." So the awareness of them to one day represent Papua New Guinea and the Kumuls is always in their brain. It's always in their head.
So all of them into rugby league now?
Every one of them. My firstborn is with Barely Bears, A grade. He's studying pharmacy. This year is the 3rd year. He's finishing uni next year. I said to him, "You finish that, then you can consider rugby league. Now you got a ticket of your life." But the second born is we see last weekend playing for the Queensland Maroons side under 19.
That's the second one.
That's the second born, Cooper. So he's doing well.
So the first one, his name is
Aston, Aston.
And
Aston.
the second one?
Cooper. Yeah. So Cooper will be this year. This week he's making his debut with Titans Feeder Club, Tweedheads Seagulls. So he's rang me last night and said, "Dad, I've been selected to play in the cup cup game this week against Burnley. I was very, very pleased. I was very pleased with this. After State of Origin, now they recognize him to be able to get up to the next step, and I'm very pleased for him. He is devoted. He trains every day. He will not sit still, and he wants to make it to NRL. He wants to play for Kumuls. It's something that I'm really proud of. And for the three of them, they want to be a Kumul. And I said, it's there. You got to work hard. You got to qualify to be able to make it. I will not get you in when the other Papua New Guinea player is better than you. It's not going to happen. I didn't go that way. My brothers didn't make way for me. I had to make way. I have to play a really good brand of footy to be able to get selected. That's how you boys gonna be. It doesn't mean that I am Marcus Bai and I've made it in PNG and I can go and say to the selectors, no, get my son now. It's not gonna happen that way. They know that. Their selection in the junior rugby league on the Gold Coast wasn't make way for them. I did not make way for them. They got to work hard for it. Now they knew how hard they're going to work to be able to get selected. My last bonus he signed a 3-year deal this year with Dolphins, under 15s.
It's the last one.
It's the last one, Logan. So
he's still in high school?
He's still in grade 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this year is grade 9, so...
What's his name again?
Logan.
Logan, L-O-G.
Yeah, L-O-G-A-N, yeah.
So you got 3 boys?
I got 3 boys, yeah.
And they're all following in your footsteps?
They're getting there. I said, you work hard, you get selected. You don't work hard, you sit there on the side. I said, I'm not going to make way for you. That's not going to happen. That's not how I do things. How I do things is I got to commit myself, work harder for a long period of time to get selected. You don't just work hard today and then next week you don't play well. Yeah. No, it's good. I'm happy they're going that way, but I'm also humbled that, it's not just me, it's the mother and
you have to say something about your missus as well.
Yeah, well...
What's your name?
Heidi. Heidi, yeah. Heidi. No, she's play a massive role in where the boys are now. I might say, 70% of their life, or 70% of their life. Like this year, I see them 6 months. I'm very, very lucky to be able to work for Canaan to Mining, that we had a 4 weeks on and a 4 weeks break. And that to us, to every family in Australia and Papua New Guinea, 4 weeks on, 4 weeks break is really good, because you got 4 weeks to be able to work with your kids and go and watch them. Yes, you miss out in the 4 weeks, but still you still get this fair share of the FIFO. With the family is really good. I enjoyed it, and I'm still, hopefully I can stay with the company for a longer period and work well with the development of it and help the landowners achieve what they want to achieve.
Yeah. Anything else? Is there anything else you want to say?
Look, now that NRL is the franchise is PNG NRL franchise is up, and I would like to see other centers in our provinces in our country, the governors, to step up and give the opportunities to their kids in their province. This is not something small. The governors should not look down on this. They should step up to the level, because in every province there are all different sports being played. You don't know in the province, say, there might be a talent, there may be 1,000 out of how many, 5,000 kids. You don't know that. But you give them the opportunity to say, hey, we got the Hunters, we got the Digital Cup, we got the Hunters, and then we got the NRL. We got how many years? 26, 27, 28. We got 3 years. They can build it now. The governors and their members, they got to build it now for their youths, to give them the opportunity. Who say that Western Britain, when I came up, Western Britain was all AFL? The Western Britain people, our people play AFL and basketball more than rugby. Rugby is not the main sport. But I made it from there. The Highlands part and Mosby play rugby league, Western Britain, we're not. And that's the difference. What I'm referring to is, if other provinces that don't play rugby league and we started to introduce that into their local sport, it gives them the opportunity to be able to make it in these levels of rugby league that will push them all the way in a good life. I'm living in a good life now because I say I'm in heaven, in a good life now because I worked hard towards my career. I didn't know that I'm going to be living in Australia. That wasn't even in my radar. I just wanted to play play rugby league, the game that I love, and hopefully I get to play the Kumuls. That was the end of it. And after that, I started to step into this is new, I'm getting better, and the self-confidence started to come in me. I got to work harder, and the confidence will come, and I built that confidence that is so strong that everything that I do then was next step to the next step to the next step. So yeah, I would love to see more parents introduce the game, whatever sport they have. It's not only rugby league, but rugby league is building a massive Sydney Harbour Bridge for the kids where they can walk on. Before, during my time going through it, I had to do it myself. I had to play well to be able to go to cities that I've dreamed of to go to, like London and all these places. You only dream about it when you read it in reading books in your primary school. So, and I managed to go and do it because of rugby league took me there. Working hard towards rugby league took me there. Something that I never ever planned, but it just happened as it goes. That experience, I want to give it back to the young boys and girls so they can do it. Albert, who's now playing for Orchids, the captain of Orchids, she done it her way. She's got her own story. Stanley Genne got his own story. Mark Mom got his own story. Justin Olam got his own story. But they make it to the same level as we all do. Adrian Lamb got his own story. So I always say to my boys, you got your own story, but that by name, you still got to work hard towards to earn it. Which is what it means. You got to earn it. You don't just be hailed for you because you're a Bai family. You got to earn it. People got to talk about you, not you talking about yourself. And I'm hard on it, and I'm hard on it for the boys. I'm not gonna make way for you. You make way for yourself. But I'll lead you to how hard it is to make way, because when you get it from me here, then the rest after school or you're going through the next level is easier for you. So that's how it is. And I know my niece is here in Papua New Guinea said, "Uncle, you're too hard on the boys." And I said, Does Pupu Bai, was he easy to us, your dad and me? He said no. I said, well, that's why we're successful. So I got to play that same tactic that my dad, that Bubu, their grandfather did, is the same thing as for my kids. So life is tough. It's not going to be easy. If they get it easy in my house, it's going to be hard out there, and they will fall down. So I got to be hard here, so when they go out there, it's easy for them. And they keep working hard. That work ethic starts from family. That's how I see it, and that's how my three boys have grown up. A 22 years old, an 18-year-old, and a 14-year-old. And that's how it will be. So later on, you can make up your own lives when you move out of my house. But this is the Bai family. This is how it will work, and it has worked before for me, and it's gonna work for you boys. So the culture, the bringing up in Ulamona is the same as now I bring up the boys. When they made a mistake, they get my hand. They know that it's a wrong thing. So yeah. And that's all.
Thank you.